Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Adam Graham, who likes to go by the name of Isla Bryson, is getting special treatment in prison. He's in a man's prison now, but he's still getting that special treatment. And it is really annoying his fellow convicts. Not a good move when you're in a prison for a crime like what Adam Graham has done, or Isla Bryson as we don't really want to call him, has done. The last thing you need to be doing is annoying those people with whom you are locked up. And yet that is exactly what he's doing. The other convicts are complaining that he is getting special treatment. He's getting extended periods in the shower and that he's allowed to wear special clothing, i.e. in his case, ladies' clothing, even though he is a man who's convicted of a crime which in Scotland can only be committed by a man and is in a man's prison. Why is he being singled out and given all these special treatments when he is quite clearly a man? We'll take a look at this and we will wonder how long it will be before the fellow inmates decide that enough is enough and, should we say, actively have a word. Let's look at this. Now, I'm not going to go through what this man has done. We've done that 1,000 times. We all know what he's done and who he is and what he is. But he's there. But he's currently, of course, he's in prison. He's in HMP, Her Majesty's, still can't get over that, His Majesty's Prison, Edinburgh, which is a pretty rough old jail, if truth be told. He's in there with the men. He didn't want to go to a man's prison, which is why he claimed that he was now transforming and becoming a woman so that he could spend time in a ladies' prison. Of course, that didn't wash. This ostensibly was partially... let's put it this way. It was the excuse Nicola Sturgeon used so that she could leave office before the investigation got underway. Let's put it that way. But she ostensibly lost her job or, was forced to resign because of this case. But then they were all, not just her, but they were all... In verbal gymnastics, trying not to call him a him. And yet he legally is a him, because the court found him guilty of a crime, as I say, for which only men can be guilty. So we won't go into the crime, but we will look at what is going on. So Isla Bryson, as he wants to be known, is accused of getting special treatment in prison, according to fellow cons, who are unhappy that he is allowed to wear women's clothes. The trans prisoner is said to be allowed an extra 30 minutes to get showered at HMP Edinburgh. Adam Graham, 31, was convicted in January of doing terrible things to two women, and he went by that name of Adam Graham, but now wants to be known as Isla Bryson. His case made international headlines after he was initially remanded in a woman's prison, despite doing the things he had done to women. He was subsequently moved to the male estate. The move caused anger across Scotland and is widely thought to have played a part in the downfall of former First Minister Nicola Sturgeon. And if you believe that, I have a bridge to sell you. Bryson only started the process of legally transitioning to female after he was charged, conveniently. And according to the Scottish Sun, insiders at the jail say he has refused to take a shower and demanded an afternoon wash. They said the staff choose when Bryson can go for his half-hour extra shower, but the prisoner refused it and caused a lot of fuss. And they even here are saying with her extra half-hour shower, it is definitely a he. It would be illegal to put a woman into a man's prison. He is in a man's prison, therefore he is a he. And he is also, as I mentioned, the crime for which he was accused can only be done by a man. And so he is a he, and all this calling him or her is actually quite wrong. It is, in this case, it is legally wrong, because otherwise he wouldn't be in that particular monolithic block for chaps who've done wrong. Bryson is always playing the discrimination card, and he always gets special treatment. It's causing tensions that Bryson is allowed to wear a wig and women's clothes in the men's nick. People are seriously fed up with the whole carry-on. I will put him aside at this point, and we all know that prisons are effectively run by the prisoners themselves. There is an uneasy, unspoken alliance between the prison officers the officers in charge and the prisoners themselves. Prisoners they behave, they get treated well, but there is this, they're unspoken rules, and effectively, because there's a lot more prisoners than there are officers, even some of the officers are protected by the prisoners themselves. It's a very, very difficult, weird thing. I had an uncle, he long gone now, but I had an uncle who ran Wormwood Scrubs, one of the country's more, shall we say, disciplinarian organisations. And he would say that yes, his officers, his wardens, and that absolutely relied on the prisoners in order to run that prison. He says no prison runs purely on the power of the guards. It must be an alliance between the guards and the prisoners themselves. And it's no different, I'm sure, at His Majesty's Prison in Edinburgh as it is in Wormwood Scrubs in London. Anyway, Bryson is serving an 8-year sentence after being convicted of doing a terrible thing to a woman in Clydebank in 2016 and then another one in Glasgow in 2019. He has refused to take responsibility for his crimes. And until he does, he must remain in prison for the remainder of his natural life. After his conviction, Bryson was taken to Cornton Vale Prison, which is a woman's prison. And this was before being transferred to a male prison. And it's previously been told how the Scottish Prison Service refused to release details of the full reasoning for why the biologically male offending of that particular type of crime was taken to a woman's estate. And the case went on to a huge crisis within the Scottish Government, and it followed the SNP's controversial gender reforms that are being passed by Parliament, with the likes of Miss Sturgeon unwilling to say what gender she thought Bryson was. And a Scottish prison spokesman said to The Sun, "We don't comment on individuals," which of course is a lie because they do all the time. This case about why he was put into the female prison is actually going to be coming up. There will be a court case under freedom of information. It will be released, and the person who ultimately took that decision will be named, and the reasoning why will be made public. And then we have to hope that that person then loses their job, because there's no way that man who's done those terrible things to women should ever be in a woman's prison, which we've covered 100 times. But there he is. But he is annoying his fellow criminals, and that is never, ever going to end well, especially in a prison like Edinburgh. And I'm going to round off on that happy note and come up. Karma can be a terrible thing. Revenge can be worse. And when you are annoying these kind of people, and remember that these kind of people aren't the normal, reasonable, intelligent people like you or I. These are people who have done some very, very serious things. They're not the sort of people you want to be crossing. You don't want to go out and make deliberate enemies of them. And yet Adam Graham seems to be doing exactly that. And I think there may yet come a time when he will prove that may be an unwise decision. And it couldn't honestly happen to a nicer chap, could it? He is a thoroughly decent chap, and I do hope that he continues to get this well-deserved special treatment, and I really hope that the other prisoners in there, they give him special treatment as well. He so deserves. Anyway, I shall round off there. Thank you very much for watching. If you like what you're seeing here on the channel, please do hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment, please share the video, and until next time, stay safe, stay well. Don't annoy the wrong people. It never ends well. And goodbye.